Welcome to Atlanta. Crisis Officer 5000, Jeremiah, the camp leader of Atlanta. Passover 2025, starting April the 9th, we got the lamb slaughter. April the 10th, we got General Muhammad's class. April the 11th, we got the black party that's going to have the Hebrew graduation. April the 12th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the 56th annual Passover, the only Passover under Commander Junior Hunter.
Our great and holy King has honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing the end of it, man. It is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King Yahushua, we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved.
April the 13th, we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Shalom.
Pastor Troy going all the way up with you, man. You already know. Friday, April 11th at the Atrium. Yeah, man. Doors open at 8 p.m. You already know. We're going from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m., man. You already know it's going all the way down. Your boy Pastor Troy, DJ Jelly performing live. And then we getting out there, man, Saturday, yeah, April 12th. It's going all the way down for the Passover. Yeah, man, you already know. At the Marriott Marquis downtown. Yeah, man, we're going from 5 p.m. to midnight. You already know. Hosted by Commander General Johanna. Your boy Pastor Troy is going to be in the building, man. Y'all boys holler.
Time to really set Atlanta on fire.
Let's get it, I got it, I'm ready, my lord. Whole click solid, everybody on board. Say they won't smoke, that's the shit they can't afford. These niggas weak, no cap, I go hard. Man, I know these niggas mad, I ain't tripping, I'm good. One call, then fall on you, don't make me do it. Me and my niggas taking your city on guard.
It's going down in Atlanta, Georgia. You're getting ready for the April 12th Passover, hosted by Commander Junior Hunter, you understand? So we're on our way out here to fly the whole Atlanta, let them know what is going down. So stay tuned. How we do it. The work don't stop. You understand? The work don't stop.
All day, every day.
Still don't know, they're going to know after tonight.
That's right. When you say go, we say go. Pass, baby. Let's get it. No fighting, ain't no arguing, nothing like that. Nothing but love, right? So if y'all want to be part of that, see what it's all about?
Both of y'all are invited to the Passover.
Okay? So just
world, we won't let it change us. Even when they switch sides and they wanna change up. Fucking with my brother, then your life in danger. Got no fear like I got one in the chamber. Since day one, we been about it, nigga. I've been going hard since the day that I found it. It's 144 to the day the Lord counted. I'ma keep my head up to the day that he crowned it now. Since day one, we been about it, nigga. I've been going hard since the day that I found it. It's 144 to the day the Lord counted. I'ma keep my head up to the day that he crowned it. They want a fame, they want a clout. That's why they doubt. I got them black, I want a class. And I shut my mouth. This was way before polite, before I came to campsites. I came broken and contrite. I just wanted to live right, clean my soul and give my life. Had to give up all my vice. I got a fog out my head. I was raised from the dead. I put down that weed and I cut off my dreads. For before I could lead, I had to learn to be led. Now I'm a bad motherfucker. Walk around and I straight flex on suckers. No one specific, I'm talking to all of you busters. Straight from the gutter, me and my brother, we the long supper. Now, running it like a conductor. Hebrew Academy, I'm the instructor. 14 written all on my cover. Men of war like we hopped at a Hummer. Just like you wanted my trooper could cut you. There is one camp, there is not another. One West, UBK. One West, UBK. One West, one West, one West, UBK. One what? UBK. One what? UBK. One what? One what? One what? UBK. Me and all of my Oyes, hold it, shit down, right here, all day. Shalom, wagwan, sa, passe, is we, damn niggas, yatu, sabe, hey. We gon' change the world, we won't let it change us. Even when they switch sides and they wanna change up. Fucking with my brother, then your life in danger. Got no fear like I got one in the chamber. Since day one, we been about it, nigga. I've been going hard since the day that I found it. It's 144 to the day the Lord counted. I'ma keep my head up to the day that he crowned it now. Since day one, we been about it, nigga. I've been going hard since the day that I found it. It's 144 to the day the Lord counted. I'ma keep my head up to the day that he crowned it.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. You in live with the Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge, Priest and Captain NATAZACH, Isupk on the Commander General Yohana. The Biblical Scripture Breakdown class. Shalom, shalom. America's on his last leg. On his last leg. You understand? Trying to rise before the 10th count. You understand? America is in a bad way. It's coming apart at the seams. You understand? It's coming apart at the seams. Shalom, shalom. Yahweh Shemal, Athad Hashem Yahushua. These are sisters in here. Shalom. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Rakatham. All right. All right. America coming apart. You understand? We get started. Any questions in the room? Let's see what you're looking at. Right. That's the deal. AMO in chief. A lot of shakeups going on. President Trump shaking up a lot of things. A lot of things going on. As you see, they just bombed Yemen. They still bombing Yemen right now. The Houthi rebels over there in the Middle East. And Iran has vowed retaliation. He said Iran said they don't want to talk about no peace deals at all. They don't want to hear nothing about peace. Peace is not even on the table. You understand? Right now, federal judges are repealing. Federal judges have been repealing the executive orders that President Trump has laid down. You understand? The scriptures say this here. It's a lot of shaking, of course. We've been prepared and being taught what's going on here in the Isupk, to know what's supposed to happen in the Bible according to the prophecies that the Lord had already told through the mouth of his prophets. That Commander General Yohana already told us and broke down the scriptures so that we know exactly what's going on. All right. Shalom, shalom, shalom. All right. Most High in Christ. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, sis. All right. That day's going to wild. Most High in Christ. The water, sister, for asking. Most High in Christ. All right. You're going to start with Amos chapter 3. Amos chapter 3. And just get a little bit. We're going to move around here. Amos chapter 3 and verse 7. Very important thing to know. All of these biblical prophecies are coming true. They're coming quick. Amos chapter 3, and we're going to start at verse 6. It says, shall a trumpet be blown in a city, an alarm or a siren be blown in the city, which is what a trumpet was for, to deliver and send a message. That's why we have a high holy day called the memorial blowing of trumpets. The Lord wants messages to be sent. God asks, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Yes, you hear sirens, you hear trumpet, loud noises made to get your attention, and the people will be afraid. Shall there be evil in a city, and the Lord have not done it? Why is it asking that question? Because anything that gets done in a city, the Lord does it. The Lord controls everything that goes on. That's why the prophet is asking, because there's all manner of evil and wickedness and judgment being passed out, and the Lord is sending it all. And the scriptures say, surely the Most High will do nothing, but he revealed his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. Meaning, before the Lord does something, he tells his prophets exactly what he's going to do. You understand? Any culture, any world culture or religion, they have a belief of some holy man, and their belief of some holy or some religious man that is close or that represents their God of their people, of their culture, in their mind, that belief is what strengthens them. But none of their holy men in any of their beliefs or their religions are able to tell the future. That stands alone in the difference. Everybody tries to take the Bible and make it be something special for whatever they wanted to do or whatever they want to be, but the Lord revealed his secrets unto the actual prophets that he set up. You understand? All right. So he already told us exactly what was going to happen. So now we want to go from there. We want to get this here to 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 4. 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. It says right here, it says, woe to the world. The Lord is saying a great destruction is coming to the world. To this age or society, there's a huge woe or destruction that's coming to the world. And not just the status about how the world works and functions. And to them, meaning the people that dwell therein. Saying it's a great destruction is not only coming to the world, but is also coming to the society and the people that are living in the society. Meaning this is not talking about a magical destruction where there's no people there. This ain't a spiritual destruction. This is just as much a physical destruction coming to the people. That's why it's written there. All right. This is what the Lord is saying in verse 15. Why? For the sword is judgment. Sword representing death and destruction. The sword draws near. It's getting near time for destruction. That's why you're hearing of wars in Afghanistan and Iran and Iraq. You understand? In Turkey and Yemen and Russia. You understand? In Poland and Belarus and Korea and China. For the sword and their destruction, the destruction of the people that live in that age of society. You understand? It draweth nigh. It's getting closer and closer. What the Lord has planned is absolutely terrible. And it's already been written and recorded. And this is why he told his prophets to go now and reveal this to the rest of our world, to wake our people up. The sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people, meaning one nation of people, shall stand up. And first they're going to rise up and be strong. Why does it say one people shall stand up? Who knows why it says one people shall stand up? Who knows? I want to give it a shot. Why does it say one people shall stand up? Let's dissect this scripture. What is it talking about? The Lord says one people shall stand up. But why? It says one people shall stand up. Who knows? Salakia, because Israel is the chosen people. Well, that's correct. Israel is the chosen people. But what we're asking about is this scripture. There's only one people that the Lord deals with. That's correct. So y'all along the lines, y'all saying the same thing, and what you're saying is not wrong. But in this scripture here that we're reading, it says, one people shall stand up. You understand? First, one people is going to stand up and fight against another with swords in hands. They're going to get their swords together to stand up and fight against another. Sister said, is it referring to his chosen people are the ones who know what to do? Okay. I see everybody is thinking along the same lines. What you're saying is not incorrect. What you're saying, these statements are correct. But the direct question that I'm asking, that's right, sis, it's a war coming. That's correct. But the direct question is, it's saying one people shall stand up and fight against another. Very important. In order for you to stand up, what do you have to be doing first? In order for you, it says one people shall stand up against another. In order for you to stand up, what do you have to be doing first? Yes. There you go, Azaraka. Yes, you have to be at rest. You're standing up to fight because you weren't fighting before. But now you're going to stand up. There you go, Tazarai. Yes. You got to be sitting down. You got to be down. In order for you to stand up to fight, you first got to be sitting down. These people are not people that have been at war. You see, America's been at war with everybody constantly. Vietnam, Korea, Desert Storm, all the black ops around the world, Iraq, Afghanistan, the war on terror, war against communism, the Cold War. All right, not oppressed. No. Y'all missing it. You're going too far. The answer was just this. You got to be sitting down. You got to be sitting down. All right, you're at rest and you're sitting down. These are people that's getting ready to go to war now these are not the people that are always going to war. Americans are always going to war. The Iraqis, Afghanistan, they've always going to war. The Iranians have not always been at war. Yemen has not been at war with the United States. You understand? Hezbollah has not been at war with the United States. They haven't been going to war. They haven't been launching missiles to hit Israel. Israel has not been going to war. These are new people who are normally sitting down, not having war, while basically the United States, which is NATO, is traveling the world fighting everybody, bombing everybody, unaliving everybody. These are new people who are going to go to war that normally would be sitting down, like China, like Korea, like Russia. You understand? Like Ukraine. These are new people going to war now. So when the Lord is saying, one people shall stand up, they're going to get strong. Japan is preparing to go to war. Japan has all but dissolved most of their military for years since they got hit with them atomic bombs. That's why everything you have made in Japan. Until America took the proprietary technology and shared it all with the Chinese, and now the Chinese make everything for much cheaper because they are a manufacturing giant with several billion people. They have a labor force unlike any in the world. That's why everything made in China. Taiwan, another place that China is about to go to war with. The Philippines, skirting around war with the Chinese. All of these things here. This is what the scriptures are talking about. One people fighting against another, a world war with swords in their hand. They're ready to do some killing. All right. Verse 16, it says, for there shall be sedition among men. Sedition means people turning on their government. Men are going to turn on their government. President Trump passed executive legislation saying that there was an immediate ban on all transgenders in the military. Who remembers that? No more alternative lifestyle in the military. You can't be, Sergeant Smith and then turn into Private Lynette at night. You understand? Can't, go to work, a man, and then get off work and then be a woman and then be a man in the morning with the glitter and the lip liner still on your face when you're in your uniform. You can't do that. President Trump signed an executive order getting rid of it. Well, a federal judge just overthrew President Trump's ruling saying that he reversed the ban on transgenders in the military. So now, who are you supposed to follow? The president has overstepped his federal boundaries. That's why you have courts and judges, to have a system of checks and balances, so you don't have one man with ultimate control over everything, which is what President Trump has done, which the judges are saying this is unconstitutional. You can't do that. Elon Musk and his Doge, the Department for Government Efficiency, are getting access to federal government records that civilians are not supposed to have, to access finances and funding, to see where money is being stolen and wasted. Well, now they passing and going to court saying this is unconstitutional. You're not allowed to do that and give civilians access to government records for government employees. You aren't allowed to mass fire government employees. Well, President Trump already did it. So now you have a situation where the federal judge, the officers of the court are supposed to carry out the rulings of the federal judge. You give it to the city governments, you give it to the state governments, and then they filter it down to the city governments, and then law enforcement, various agencies throughout each state, they enforce the rules and laws by the state. Each state has a king over the state called the governor. And the governor has an army that he commands called the National Guard. The mayors, who are at a lower level of government, control the law enforcement. They technically work for the mayors. You understand? But the federal judges are at the mercy now of whoever decides to choose their word over the president of the United States. So you have men that are turning against their own government, which is what sedition means. Trump say, I run the government. The federal courts say, no, this is how the government is actually run. They overturned President Trump saying he's deporting Venezuelans. Right now, our brothers, the tribe of Asher, was illegally deported to Guantanamo Bay, which is the island that the tribe of NASHAH lives on. Guantanamo Bay is in Cuba. It is known for the torture of the Iraqi prisoners, most of which who were later found to be innocent. After 9/11, they were brutally tortured and beaten and abused and violated the way that the oppressor loves to do. You understand? And waterboarded and all manner of evil, torturous things that they, of course, perfected against slaves and Native Americans and Mexicans over centuries of them ruling this land. And what they did is they illegally sent them after a federal judge said that you cannot do this. They still did it anyway. They also illegally sent the tribe of Asher, brothers from Venezuela in South America, to the Gulags prison in El Salvador, which is in Central America, the land of Zebulon, and the country of El Salvador is ran by goddamn French Montana. A damn Palestinian, a Pakistani runs El Salvador. His name is President Bukele. And he has a damn airport-style prison that is a gigantic airport prison where prisoners are under 23-hour lockdown from the country's rival gangs, MS-13 and 18th Street. And they are being held in prison cages without lawyer, without evidence, without due process. And they took brothers from a whole nother country and have them in prison with the tribe of Zebulon in El Salvador, being held with no charges, no officer, no lawyer, no due process, illegally sent to another country that they are not from, and being held in prison as political prisoners right now. And it's illegal because a federal judge ruled that President Trump was not allowed to do it, but they did it anyway. So when the scripture says they shall be sedition among men, people are going to turn on their governments. They're not going to give a damn, and invading one another. They're going to invade one another. They got soldiers on the border, Marines on the border, preparing to do operations against the Mexican drug cartels. They're preparing to invade Mexico to go to war with Mexico. You understand? Mexico has not been in a war with the United States, but President Trump is authorizing soldiers to damn near invade Mexico to go to war against Mexican citizens. When the Bible talks about invading one another, same thing happened with Russia and Ukraine. This was written several thousands of years ago. And it says they shall not regard their kings nor princes. They're not going to care about who's in charge. Right now, the United States bombed the country of Yemen to attack the Houthi rebels, who are a militia group backed by Iran, who was a great superpower in the Middle East after America had already unalived and destabilized Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, stole all of his oil, his money, his gold, destabilized his country. They did the same thing to Iraq with Saddam Hussein. Stole his land, his gold, his country, his money. You understand? And the president of Iran just said today, I don't want to talk about no peace negotiations, and Donald Trump can do whatever the hell he gonna do. We ready to slide. That's what he said today. Israel is still agreeing to the ceasefire, but they've continued to bomb the Palestinians. They don't care who lives there, the kids, the children, the land, a ceasefire. Nobody gives a damn about what they're saying. And the course of their power, the course of their actions, meaning whatever it is that they actually do, besides the agreements, besides the law and the courts and the judges, the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Meaning if they have shooters in the military and the Navy and you don't, then they're going to do whatever the hell they feel like doing and you can't stop them. Because the rule of law is the same way that the oppressor has always ruled, and that is by the gun. That is by the sword, by the missile, by the rocket, through terror and unaliving. Verse 17, we saw this as well during COVID. The scriptures in 2nd Ezra 2 and 17, 2nd Ezra 15, 17, it says, a man shall desire to go into a city. Meaning you're going to want to go into a city and shall not be able. That's coming back to America again. It happened during COVID. Nobody ever thought you would see the National Guard on the streets of America during COVID. Well, it's coming back to America again. You understand? The Lord said it's coming back to America again. It says, for because of their pride, because of how arrogant and proud they were. You see how arrogant Donald Trump is. He lets open camera footage of him disrespecting and checking the president of Ukraine. You're a little man. You talk tough and brave here, like belittling and shaming him before the world. Because their pride, they're proud to think you can remove several million people from the country. You can fire all your top military officials and the government workers who run your country and keep your secrets. You can just throw them out the country and fire them in masses and then think there's no repercussions coming behind that. You understand? That's what it says. For their pride, the city shall be troubled. Their city's going to be destroyed. Just like Ukraine is destroyed. A lot of Russia is destroyed. All of Palestine is destroyed. The houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. You understand? This is what Christ was talking about. And it says, a man shall have no pity on his neighbor. Wait till those grocery stores get empty. Wait till they get empty again and the water goes off the shelf and there's nothing left but chicken legs in the store. No more breasts, no more thighs and wings. The rice drying up. They're talking about an egg shortage. No more Jimmy Dean sausage in the grocery store. The milk ain't coming. The eggs not coming. You're out of cheese. You understand? From there, they say all of that rule of thumb. They trying to get rid of cash so that they can steal the last bit of money out of your bank account and try to make a digital currency because the dollar is worth nothing. President Trump thought he had a solution to the problem through his hatred and racism of our Latino brothers and sisters, and he sunk and plummeted all of the stock markets in the S&P 500 and the Nikkei and all of the business stabilities. He made them crash right along with Tesla stock and Twitter stock and tons of mutual funds and investment stocks, all of them in a free fall because of how his racism and his foolishness and ignorance of government is causing all of these things and their sureties to collapse. So it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods. They're going to run in that house, get to stealing, get to killing, get to kidnapping and snatching. You seen the crazies. You seen the Purge. They put their real plans in these Hollywood movies. Now, of course, we're not talking about conspiracy theories, because a theory is something that you guess. A conspiracy is something that you can prove. And we can prove that they absolutely plan to do this They got a whole branch of the government that's specifically designed to target Latino brothers and sisters and Haitians. It said because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. That's why it's important that all blacks and Latinos get into the ISUPK, that you come into the ISUPK, that you get in here, that you do the work, you do your 90 days. If you're a brother, you get in your all black, you call the school and say, I want to become a trooper in the ISUPK. You're a sister, you call the school and say, I want to get in the UPK. You get in the classes, you pay your tithes, you understand? You take off your baby doll tassel t-shirts, you cut your dreadlocks, you stop getting shape-ups and shaving your face bald. You understand? You get out the church in the mosque, you stop shalawaming and Shabbat shalawaming, you stop making fake Israelite groups and fake Passovers, fake high holy days, you stop eating pork and getting tattoos and wearing shirts of the Most High's name like it's a goddamn basketball jersey, like it's a damn trend. You got the Lord's name written on your face, written on your jersey, like you in a goddamn fraternity looking like a dummy. You understand? It's time to stop all of that. The Lord getting ready to send the death angel through to start killing. And your leader lives an alternative lifestyle. That's who you think you in the truth following him. And he taking rods up the behind from his woman. You understand? You better get in the ISUPK. Time is running out. This is what the Lord is talking about. 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 20. It says, behold, look, saith the Most High, I will call together. The Lord said, I will call together. God is doing this, not President Trump, not the Democratic or Republican Party, not whoever you think, oh, they should have voted for Kamala. Oh, if Obama was in there, this wouldn't have happened. God is doing this. You understand? The Lord said, I will call all the kings of the earth, the presidents, the chancellor, the prime minister, whoever it is that rules that land, to reverence me. They're going to have to respect me. Everybody been living their life however they want. Everybody been living in whatever order, whatever gods, whatever belief, whatever policies. And the Lord said, now it's time for everybody to get on my page. Everybody going to reverence me. They're going to honor me because the Lord is getting ready to wipe out all of their governments and militaries and institute Christ's world government when he returns with 200 million of the armies that are in heaven. The chariots or UFOs, as our oppressor likes to call them. That's what all of this is building up to. The Third World War, the nuclear war, the thermal war, the civil war, the race war, all of these wars. This is what it's building up to. This is the literal end of all of the world's empires. The reset button is getting ready to get pressed. That's why all the jobs is being taken away. They're firing postal workers, people whose jobs are supposed to be secure. If you work for the post office, the union keeps you from getting fired, damn near, unless you stealing mail. You damn near can't get fired because of your clerks, your shop stewards, the union. That's the purpose of labor unions. You might be too young to remember Jimmy Hoffa and the Teamsters Union and all the unions and the mafia working with the unions to get kickbacks and the unions fighting against the government to get the demands that they want for the auto workers and all of these workers and the steel workers in this union. You understand? That's what they were fighting for. Well, all of that's getting ready to go away. You aren't supposed to lose your unionized job. You aren't supposed to lose your government job. The government job is guaranteed. The government always needs to be run. Well, now you don't have that assurance anymore of a government job, a 401k, a paycheck, a retirement, your health insurance, your life insurance. That assurance, the Lord is removing that because thou trusted in this empire. You trusted in man. You went to church and you sang to an image of the oppressor. And you didn't care when the Lord sent his prophets on the street to warn you to wake up and build his kingdom. Had we done what the Lord said, we would still be in captivity. But instead of us being dependent on the American government, we would be on the separate Black, brown, and Native American side of town, where the Lord would bless our resources for serving him and would curse our enemies' resources for being our enemies. The same way it happened in the land of Egypt. You understand? All right. Okay. Salaki, brother. Okay, you should call the school to ask that question. All right. You should call the school to ask that question. Call me after class. You're doing 3 months to be a trooper. Already 6 months in. You understand? All right. Osai in Christ. All right. Yeah, that same brother, young man, call the school. You call the school, we talk after class. All right. That's what we do there. All right. So when the Lord says, behold, the Most High I will call and gather all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and from Lebanon, to turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them. The Lord is causing them to turn against each other. The Lord is causing them to turn against each other. You understand? All right. So that's what it is. The Lord is causing them to turn against each other. Okay. All right. So let's get some more. Yeah. It says in verse 21, why is the Lord causing all of this? He says, like as they do yet this day unto my chosen. There are crimes that these nations have done unto Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans that the world does not want to recognize. The world doesn't recognize this. The world doesn't want to recognize. All right. They don't want to recognize the fact that the Palestinians live in the land that belongs to the tribe of Judah, that the Israeli man lives in the land of Israel, and they are not the biblical ethnic Jews or the children of Israel. They don't want to acknowledge that the Garden of Eden encompasses the majority of the Middle East, and the land does not belong to them because we went into slavery under the Romans and then fled into the west coast of Africa. And in the West, the Africans, along with the Arabs and the Europeans, all rounded us up, divided and sold us into the transatlantic slave trade. They don't want to reference the fact that they've come to America and got rich and wealthy and powerful and set up businesses in international trade. They don't want to reverence that fact there. They don't want to do that. You understand? They don't want to do that. All right. Because they've gotten rich and wealthy and powerful, and they don't care about the fact that the wealth that they have, they're sharing with a criminal who committed genocide and slavery and great crimes against the Most High and the children of God in order for them to have wealth. Nobody cares about that until they has them like missiles at each other. Then they'll start to care. Until their cities are destroyed, then they'll care. Then it will be important. For now, we just the day laborers, the help, the worker, the illegals, they call us whatever they want. But that'll change once their city is turned to ashes. Then they'll start to look around and wonder, why didn't Allah help them? Why didn't Caesar Borgia help them? Why didn't their missiles and their rockets help them? Why didn't Islam? They're going to wonder. And in that day, they're going to be forced to reconcile with the fact of the crimes that they've done against the children of Israel. You understand? All right. So that's what it is there. Okay. Also, Yagadawi in 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 21. All right.
Come. 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 21. Like as they do, yet this day unto my chosen. 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 21. Like as they do,
like as they do this day, they still doing it to this day. All right, you got reverb going on in your background, y'all. All right, keep going. Yagadar.
So will I do also and recompense in their bosom.
The Lord said, I'm going to pay them back in their bosom. Your bosom is your chest. He said, I'm going to pay them back. I'm going to pay them back. I'm going to put it in their chest. I'm going to pay them back. You understand? The Lord said, I'm going to pay them back. Keep going.
Thus saith the Most High.
Right. Thus saith the Lord. He said, this is it. All right. Keep going. Give me 22.
Verse 22. My right hand shall not spare the sinners.
The Lord said his hand, his judgment is not going to spare sinners. That's why it's important to come into the truth, to stop smoking weed, to stop getting high, to stop getting shape-ups, to cut those dreadlocks, get out the church and mosque and stop voting, and get out of fake Israelite groups. The Lord said, I'm not going to spare sinners. It's the Lord's judgment. You understand? Hold on real quick. Just a moment. Read one verse above it again.
Verse 20. Behold, saith the Most High. Salakia, verse 21. Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also and recompense in their bosom. Thus saith the Most High. Verse 22. My right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth.
All right. Come.
Salakia, the one you want to go ahead and run?
Right. There we go.
Water.
All right. Says already have 6 months in. All right. Go ahead. 3 months. All right, go ahead.
Verse 21. Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also and recompense in their bosom. Thus saith the Most High. Verse 22. Right. My right hand shall not spare the sinners.
The Lord said, my hand is not going to spare the sinners. Got a new series coming out. You all take a look. You understand? Make sure y'all check the series that get released on this channel here. The Lord said his hand will not spare the sinners. There's a lot of things that our people are doing that they are unaware they are not allowed to do. I don't know how, because we've been teaching since the 60s what the Lord requires and what we can and can't do. Most people just ignore it. But the Lord said he's not sparing sinners. Time out for living an alternative lifestyle and getting high and being in charge and doing your own thing your way. You understand? There's no protection of the Lord that comes with you knowing Jesus Christ is a black man, and you understand, you still have sex with another brother's woman. That's not going to help you in the day when the Lord send the death angel through to punish the wicked and the sinners. You understand? So that's important. All right. So keep
And
going.
my sword shall not cease over them.
The Lord said his sword is not going to stop over the wicked. You understand? That's why we explain it. That's why we explaining these things is very important. It's very important, these things. All right. It's so many things that our people do that they don't realize, that they just assume the Lord is okay with it and the Lord will just be with them while they're doing it. And it's because of Christianity. And you can't get Christianity off of you unless you are in the ISUPK, unless you stay in the ISUPK and you maintain. Christ said, he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. That's what it says in the Bible. Not who came and come and go and dip and in and out and repeat what they hear and make a video and try to imitate. The scriptures say, he that endureth to the end. Endure is a process. You understand? He said, I will try the third part as gold is tried in a furnace. There's a refining process with heat and pressure, with gas and pain and reshaping is done. That's a process. You understand? All right.
That shed innocent blood upon the earth.
They shed innocent blood upon the earth. Our oppressor has shed innocent blood upon the earth. And our people have been following him and also shedding innocent blood on the earth. We followed our oppressor into his culture, his lifestyle, to the point where our sisters are unaliving their babies. Brothers are unaliving each other and joking about it in a song. You understand? That's not the right spirit that we are supposed to have as a people. Keep going.
Verse 23, the fire is gone forth from his wrath.
The Lord sending fire from his wrath. All kind of things coming down. Okay, I see your question, but I'll get to it in a second. All kind of things. Fire, missiles, trouble. The Lord sent evil angels. You understand? They waiting on orders. This is their purpose while they were born. They waiting on order. You understand? All right, there we go. Should be better now. Okay. All right. So we got Shaw, the question here. This question looks familiar. It says, Lakia, if a brother keep telling stories about his past, which was wicked, does that mean he glorified his past? If he's telling stories about his past, which was wicked, does that mean he's glorifying his past? If all a man has, a brother or sister has to talk about is their wicked past, then they have not done enough towards their future. They got more to talk about their wicked past than the actual work they're doing to be changed into the truth. I assume, are we talking about just a brother in general, a wicked past, or I might be missing some more information? Usually the people who talk about their past all the time, they have more invested in their past than they do in their future. They still identify more with whoever they were in the past than who they are working to be in the future and right now. You understand? Ton of brothers get in and we come into the truth. We don't, not spending our time glorifying our past and whatever we did in the world. None of that means anything in here. You are a singer, you understand, whatever skills that can't be used to forward this truth, nobody gives a damn. We don't really give a damn. Some famous singer, some NFL player, the top super killer in the military, killing for Esau, whatever you did, all the money you made, pimping and robbing and selling dope and getting high, smoking weed and all of that. You understand? If that means more to you, the scriptures say, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. If the only thing that you have to continually say out of your mouth is about some wicked bastard who is supposed to be a man or a woman that's dying every day, then you need to get to work and do more work in the truth so that you'll have something worthwhile talking about. Make no mistake, as good of a so-called person as you were in the world by the world standard, as you, I, your mama, my mama, the best person that you knew in the world, God hated who you were. God hated who I was. God hated everything about the life that we lived in the world. We were all dead to him in sins. The brother that went to church every day, every Sunday, was dead to the Most High. The brother that sold drugs on the street corner was dead to the Most High. The brother that took care of his wife and kids and celebrated Christmas and birthdays and Thanksgiving, he was dead to the Most High. The brother and the sister stealing and robbing, stealing cars, sitting in prison, was dead to the Most High. The homeless brother living under a bridge was dead to the Most High. The sister getting high, the sister leading the church, sister leading the prayer, the social worker helping the people in the city was dead to the Most High. Because we did not serve the Most High and keep his law, statutes, and commandments, then the Lord does not see us. A righteous man has to teach us how to change our lives. That's why Adam was given the breath of life. The Lord gave Adam something that even though he was a living man, just like everyone else in the earth, the Lord gave Adam something so that God could recognize him. Because Adam was unrecognizable from people in the world, from people who were in the dust in their lowered states. He was unrecognizable. And then the Lord gave him something special to make him supernatural, to make him spiritually alive, so that the Lord could see him and teach him and you understand, and make Adam his son to reproduce his people on the earth. You understand? That's what it is. You understand? Other sister, you got to come into the truth and do actual work. You understand? A lot of times, you got to come to do work. We don't let just anybody in here. We don't let just anybody in here. In fact, the actual job is to make sure that a wicked man who has, or woman who has something more important that he or she would rather do than serve the Most High, that they leave, that you go back to church, go back to weed, go back to dreadlocks, go back to shape-ups, go back to cocaine, go back to hoeing. If there's something that is more important than serving the Most High, whatever you're pretending to do in here will not last. You won't stay here. You understand? The scriptures say, the Lord says, my sheep hear my voice, and another's voice they will not follow. That's why we have counseling in the school, to help brothers and sisters get strong so they can get rid of the old man or woman that it may mean something to them, but it means nothing to us in here, because it means nothing to the Lord. It means nothing to Christ. It is only a man in the world, a woman in the world who lived an evil, wicked life that God hated, that you should be trying to get as far away from, so that the Lord can forget all the evil things that we did, so that you don't get charged for it and the Lord kill us all. You understand? And we help brothers and sisters understand that by them coming into the truth and them coming to class and we teach brothers and sisters what they should and should not say. You understand? It's a learning process. Just like you have a young son or a young daughter, you have to teach them what they should or shouldn't say, how to talk a certain way, what is the right thing to say, when to say it, what to wear, what is appropriate, what is inappropriate, how to carry everything in every situation. The vast majority of brothers and sisters are too proud to be taught by someone better than them how to change and fit into this mold that is the Lord's family. Most brothers and sisters won't do that. Many brothers and sisters will, and that is who the Lord wants. Some brothers and sisters just need time. Some brothers and sisters just need to, you understand? But it is a process. But that's not anything that we glory in. Because everybody got a bunch of stories. Did this and robbed this and this and that, but it's not something to glory about. Now, if you just talking to somebody and y'all just say, hey, I used to do this, I was in a music band and I was in a gang and this and that or something, that's just a general conversation or something, but that should not be the conversation every time you all get together. You understand? That brother, sister, they got to find something else to talk about. You understand? That's our brother, sister ends up outside the truth. Yep. That could be how a brother or sister ends up outside the truth. The scriptures say, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. The things that's coming out of your mouth, that's what's inside of you. And that's why when you come into the truth, we put tons and tons of new things inside of brothers and sisters. That's what the Lord wants to be put inside of them. The Lord wants your concern about, you know what? In the world, I did this, this, and this, and I lived a terrible life and God hated it. So what do I want to do? A lot of times, I'll give you another example. What else do I do? If I've lived life a certain way for such a long time, my life is not going to change automatically overnight. It's a process of me changing. It's a process of me growing. And throughout this process, something that must be done in here that is not done outside of here is I must improve. I must improve. I must get better at not smoking weed. I must get better at not smoking cigarettes, not getting shape ups, not shaving my face, not having sex with a sister and throwing her away, not robbing, not doing this. I must get better at my anger. I must get better at not being a blackout drunk, starting fights and offending everybody everywhere. I must improve because that is what the Spirit of the Lord is here to do. I must improve taking care of my health. I must improve taking care of my medicine, making sure I'm not breaking any laws, making sure that I am a lawful, law-abiding citizen, which many of our people don't even understand the concept of it because we've been in slavery for so long. That's why the Lord gives you a camp leader, someone who would be able to examine and scrutinize what you do, what you say, your environment, what's happening around you, so that they who watch for your soul can give a good account when someone asks, how are the brothers and sisters doing there? You understand? That's the purpose of being in the truth. You can't get that outside of this body. You can't get that outside of here because your camp leader might be buying pegging kits with your tithe money, with your offering money, setting up an OnlyFans account so he can pimp his rib out on the internet. Or he taking your money so that he can, make people buy $1,500 purple outfits so that they can go to Africa and get little boys over there where they don't have any laws or rules. You understand? It's dangerous being a fake Israelite. It's very dangerous. You understand? But over time, you'll put new things into your spirit. You understand? I want to make sure that if I was a brother and I used to hurt people in the world, I want to make sure that I am a brother who is constantly saying, we're not supposed to hurt brothers. We ain't supposed to be beating on brothers and doing this and robbing people and harming people, man. That's against the Lord. The Lord said he so hate a violent man. We're not supposed to live that way so that you can force that demon out of you. If I was a brother, or if you were a brother or sister that got high all the time, You should be against getting high. We ain't supposed to be getting high. I don't want to be around nobody getting high. I don't want to get high. I want to encourage brothers and sisters that I know. We're not supposed to be smoking weed. I used to smoke weed. I don't smoke weed no more. I don't go into these places where all the weed smoking places are. I don't celebrate any of the weed smoking events. The Lord is against that. I don't live that life. If y'all gonna do that, I can't go with you. We can't be a part of each other if this is the life you're gonna continue to live. We over here getting ready for the Passover. We can't do that. I can't go with you. You my boy. We can't go to the barbershop no more. We can't get the line up and the shape ups. We can't get that. We can't get our locks retwisted. Got to cut the locks off. I love my locks just like you loved yours. But when you come into the truth to serve the Lord, there's requirements before you are accepted in here. The Lord don't just take whoever, however. That's enough to come into class and be a student. But you have to humble yourself and be willing to change before you can be one of us in here. And that's not something that is done in a week or a day. Some people need months. Some people need years. Some people it takes many times. Many brothers and sisters watch UPK videos for years and don't even put their name in there. And then one day they sign in and they're ready to go. You understand? So it's it's different. It's different situations. All right. So let's see. All right, so we got another question. It said, so do you think, obviously, of course, Paul said, do you think of a brother coming older, depending on how much evil he did, versus a brother that come in younger without doing much evil or lesser? Could it be more difficult for that older brother? Young brothers are pretty evil. young brothers ain't letting no grass grow between their feet. You understand? Older brother might have had more time to do evil, but you understand? The young brothers are setting houses on fire and doing kidnappings and kickdoors. You understand? So I don't know. These young brothers are pretty wild, huh? You understand? They don't have no type of filter or measure on how much evil I should be able to do in 1 week, like how it was back in the day. But something that an older brother must always, right, something that an older brother wants to always consider as well is that a young brother coming, first of all, when you come into the truth, the thing that matters to that individual more to them is their age. If an older brother wants to come and be a trooper in the school, he's gonna wear all black, do 90 days at least, and then be evaluated if he actually wants to be in the truth and do this work. If a younger brother coming to the truth, he's gonna be evaluated as well and everything too. So, it's not exactly the same for every situation. However, something that an older brother must also keep in mind, that a lot of the evil that someone who's been alive longer was able to do has thoroughly damaged the generations that came after them. Somebody who's a young teenager, a 20-year-old, he didn't really have enough time to do as much damage as somebody who's much older. That them having sex with sisters and throwing them away completely destabilized the neighborhood. Even though the young brothers will run through some tail and throw it away and get everybody pregnant too, like NBA young boy, you understand, they'll get through it too. But there's a certain level of accountability, like, damn, this young brother in here trying to get it right. But, look how long I've been messing up. And I got work I need to do so that I can start to fix the evil that I did that probably destroyed the world for him even more so, to put him in this situation. So this is why the scriptures say the meek or the humble shall inherit the earth. Most older brothers is too proud to think they even did something wrong where they are responsible and they need to join the force to fix what they should have been fighting against when they were young, or to fight against the way that they thought was acceptable to live life, which is the outside of what the Lord said. Like if they went to become a Black Panther or a Muslim or get into politics and all of these things that seem like the right thing to do, when you could have done and accomplished so much more had you obeyed the Lord and join Commanding General Yohana, you would actually have the power to change brothers and sisters' lives with their problems in the city, in the streets where they are, as opposed to getting some government position, working with their system and their legislation, not doing things the way the Lord said things are supposed to be done. You wouldn't know any better. So, it's many different sides to it, but you understand, everybody still definitely needs to be disciplined. Some brother that's coming in here talking about, I'm, young 20, but I just been stabbing and shooting people since I was 14. You understand? You're gonna have to learn some new things, because we not glorifying and we not accepting you just in here talking about how much of a badass you've been, because that means nothing in here. You still gonna say con out of one con and take orders. And if you feel like you don't have to because you too old or too young, or you did too much or whatever you thought meant something in the world, you won't be in here with us. You understand? There's a place you can go, but you can't stay in here with us. What good is that gonna do at camp? What good is that gonna do? We speaking to the city. What good is that gonna do with our food program, or our substance abuse program, or our prison program? You understand? Like, there's a way to fine tune your experience into skill that is usable in the truth. That's why when you come in, we teaching brothers and sisters and helping them fight their demons. You understand? And all of that is a process. That's also why when brothers and sisters come into the truth, they off limits for 6 months. They to be saluted only. When brothers and sisters come into the truth, they call the school and get counseling from the actual school line so that they can be directed on what to do. They may be told to check in with this, report this way, do this, let's work on this. What problems do you have? What's going on with your life in this situation? Like, there's a whole bunch of things that goes on with a brother and sister. It's not just a one blanket, solution. But for sure, if that's all you have to talk about, then you understand. And you also want to be mindful about what you're saying out your mouth. That's the first lesson to come into the truth. You want to be mindful about that. You understand? Somebody looking, yeah, I'm in this group of righteous men. We in here standing with the Lord. We ain't getting high, smoking weeds, getting shape ups. We ain't making whores out of sisters. We should be, the scriptures say, speak of things that is of a good report. That's what it says in the scriptures. You understand? How many people I shot when I was 14 and 15? That ain't of no good report. What young man is going to see that and say, yeah, I need to be in there with them? They still talk about shooting. I'm outside shooting. Like, nah, brother, we got to change our life. I lived a terrible life, and it was horrible. And we did terrible things to brothers and sisters. And now we got to dedicate our life to fixing the evil that we did so that no more brothers and sisters live the life that I lived. That's what's supposed to happen. You understand? And that takes practice. And it takes practice. But that shouldn't stay in an older man or a younger man for a long time. That shouldn't stay in you. You should be filled with something else. That shouldn't still mean so much to you after so much time. It shouldn't still mean enough to you to where everyone that meets you gets to hear about how much time you did and how many robberies you did and how big your church was and how much of a pastor you were, and you traveled everywhere and you made all the money in the world and all the Cadillacs and Rolls Royces you had. And, like, that stuff don't impress the Lord. And it could be perceived negatively by the brothers that's looking at you like you're supposed to be a righteous man of the Lord standing with me. If a brother gets around me and they feel that they are that comfortable that all they can talk about is how much of a criminal they used to be, there must be something wrong with how I'm presenting myself that you feel so comfortable to talk to me about how much of a gangster killer, gangster blood you was. And we ain't got no scriptures to go over. We ain't got no Maccabees breakdowns to talk about. We ain't got no way we could push the truth further that we could talk about. We ain't got no, John 3:16 and the woman at the well and this and that. We got to speak of something different. We got to change. When I was a child, I spake as a child. But when I became a man, I'm paraphrasing, I put away childish things. We got to change our conversation. That's in Ephesians. It talks about that in Ephesians, the 2nd and the 5th chapter. That's also in the book of Acts when it talks about that. That's in the book of Romans where it talks about this. We have to grow up and change as a people. Like, we've been in captivity for so long, we don't know what's required of an adult. As a free adult, not as a child that don't know how to manage their life. I'm talking about as a free person. Someone who's a slave is used to another race of people managing every area and aspect of your society. Now you learning how to govern yourself, govern other people, have a governing body and position, a figure of authority. You understand? To lead the nation. Like, that's a great responsibility. And that's not something that every brother was raised in the world how to do. But it is something that you will be raised and trained how to do and operate here in the truth. And some brothers are just better at it than others. Some just need more time. We can switch over to the other channel, Instagram, so y'all meet us over there. All right. So that's what it's talking about. Got young officer, Yasha, what we got? Is Palestine and Israel repeating the same events as in the scriptures? Judah and Israel were two different sides or its own country. All right. So your question is a little bit different there. Palestine, the land of Palestine is the land of Judah. So on the 12 tribes on the map of Israel, you had all the 12 tribes that were together. It shows you where they were placed. Of course, the map is much smaller. You understand? But it gives you the general area where the tribes were. The land today of so-called Palestine was a part of the land of Judah, which was one of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Israel itself consisted of the northern kingdom, which was most of our tribes, the so-called Latino brothers and the so-called natives, when we were all together in the Middle East. All right. So the Palestinians who live there are not the Philistines of the Bible who were Africans. They're not the people whose land it belongs to, which is us. And the Jewish Israeli white man is not the children of Israel in the Bible, not the northern kingdom or the 12 tribes. None of those people belong in that land. And the Lord is going to send them and everyone else in the world into World War III. That's why we are here in the UPK building up our kingdom for Christ and fixing our brothers and sisters while the Lord protect us and destroy everyone else and cause them to go to war with each other. So that's what's going on. But the most of the Middle East in those countries belongs to the land of Israel. That was the original land of the Garden of Eden. That's the land that the Lord gave to Adam. Most of those rivers have dried up. Many of them are more desert now than it has hospitable land. But most of that Middle East belongs to us, and the Lord going to make all of them bomb each other anyway. All right. So it's plenty of scriptures to talk about it. You joined the class pretty late, or you signed in pretty late. If you go back and watch the beginning of the class, we were talking in 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha, going over things leading up to World War III, which is what's being set for right now. All right. So Officer Quashaw, just let me know, Quashaw, if that answers the question you had. I think this was more of a statement than a question. Older brother come in, depending on how much evil. You understand? It also depends on what's being said is older. Because his brothers coming into the truth, they 50, 60, 70 years old. And they coming in just like young brothers. They 70 years old, getting AARP, Social Security, working their second job, and had career, and wife and kids and everything, and brewed up and military, and then lived several different lives, and they come into the truth. You understand? So, it depends on who's saying, who's old. You understand? Because I know brothers is 50s and getting the 60s, they in the school, they in the truth with gray hairs and garments and all blacks and holding posts and everything. You understand? So that also, to them, everybody's a young brother. You understand? So there's also that as well. All right, Instagram, hold up. We getting up on the other channel. Bear with us just a moment. All right. Only give me just a second. Yagadar, where were we reading it? Okay. Hey,
We
Shalom,
left off,
brother. Should bring it up. All right.
we left off at verse 23 out of 1.
All right, go ahead, give me 23.
Verse 23. The fire is gone forth from his wrath and have
The
consumed the
Lord
found
sending fire. Go ahead. The fire from his wrath.
and have consumed the foundations of the earth.
The fire is going to consume the foundations of the earth. This does not mean the entire earth is going to be blown up, but there's a fire that's coming. You understand? The Lord is sending fire. That's what's coming with World War III. That's what everybody talking about. Every other press conference is about World War III. The president of Iran said, do what you're going to do. I'm not trying to squash no beefs. Let's get it on. You understand? All right. So where you at now?
And the sinners like the straw that is kindled.
Like straw that's kindled. You take straw, you put it in the fire to get the fire good and hot, and it's going to burn up. That's what it's talking about. All right.
Verse 24.
Go ahead.
Woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments.
It says, woe to them that sin and don't keep the Lord's commandments. That's why I'm teaching brothers. That's why Christ said, you understand? He that keepeth our commandments and doeth them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Our people didn't realize there was a job to be done to build the kingdom of heaven. It doesn't come with observation. There was a job that's supposed to be done. They weren't doing that job. They were doing Christianity. They were doing democracy. They were doing Catholicism. They were doing Islam. They weren't doing the job of building Christ's kingdom. The things they were doing were contingent on what was acceptable by the world that the Lord was against, the society that was going on at the time that was always ruled by our oppressor. You understand? Keep going.
Saith the Most High. Verse 25.
This is what the Lord is saying this.
Verse 25. I would not spare them.
The Lord said, I will not spare them. The Lord's sparing everybody right now, giving us a time to change. That's why it's so imperative that we come in and put as much effort and everything that we have into waking up, making this truth big and grow, and making everything happen so that brothers and sisters can come in and change their lives as we change our lives. You understand? The scriptures say as the disciples went, they were made whole. They didn't start out whole on the journey. There was a job to do and they were willing. And as time went on, the Lord made more and more of them come together with who they were supposed to be versus who they were when they first started the work. But they have to change. You understand? Keep going.
Go your way, ye children, from the power. Defile not my sanctuary.
Don't defile my sanctuary. Don't destroy the place that I have set up to be a place of refuge. You understand? Don't fill it with your lies and your danger. That's what fake Israelites have done to the truth. They've made the world believe this is exactly what it's talking about. The place where you are supposed to go to learn about God. Everyone knows it's not the Christian church. The people in the church are not interested in learning about God. They're interested in Christianity. Are there brothers and sisters who think that they are sincerely serving God? Yes. And we have to get them. Are there brothers and sisters in Islam and in the conscious community praying to rocks and Ra and Isis and crystals and Haile Selassie? Yes. And you have to go and get them. We got to go get them. and fish them out of that nonsense so that they can change their lives to serve the Most High before the Lord sends fire and judgment and they die in their sins. Just like somebody else was willing to completely put their lives on hold to make the truth as strong and great as it was so that they can go and get us out of the world with the Lord's grace and his mercy, of course. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 26, for the Most High knoweth all them that sin against him.
The Lord knows everybody that sins against him. He knows them all. You understand? Keep going.
And therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction.
He knows that. And in a time, he delivers them into death and destruction. You're supposed to come into the truth, and immediately you get a Hebrew name, not a Yiddish name, not a Jewish name, not a Christian name. You're supposed to get a Hebrew name. You're supposed to learn your language, your alphabets, how to speak, read, write, and talk your language, the Lashawan Kwadash. You're supposed to learn what brotherhood means, what it means to be a brother, the burden of brotherhood and sisterhood, the burden of keeping the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, how to do it, how to understand the scriptures, your language, the history of our people and our identity, what to wear, how to dress, how to be, what is a proper brother and sister, what is a proper husband and wife, a proper leader, what is right, what is wrong. All of these things you're supposed to learn in the direct way that it's passed down to you, that the Lord gave it to Commander General Yohana. Not a million different philosophies and beliefs and Shabbat Shalom and different Passovers and Easter and pork and macaroni and cheese and strippers and alternative lifestyle. And we all must wear purple and we all must dress like candy canes and we must accept white people and we must accept Africans and all of these things that make a place of refuge and sanctuary dangerous. They feel that into what people think is the truth. That's why we make it very blatantly clear. If you are not in the ISUPK, you are not in the truth. You don't know the Bible. You're not authorized to teach. You can't go and find somebody else that you like better. If you decide to go ahead and do it, Lord be with you, do what you want. You understand? But you will never say you were not told. All right? So keep going.
Verse 27, for now are the plagues come upon the whole earth.
Now there's plagues coming upon the whole earth. Before it was certain pockets, plagues here, plagues there. The Lord released that COVID and the world stopped spinning. The Lord released something else, 2 plagues at a time. Many businesses never recovered from COVID. People lost their sense of smell and sense of taste and never got it back after COVID. You understand? Lord knows if he sent 2 plagues at one time, who knows what had happened to the world. They played a video of a whirlwind. The Lord sent a whirlwind through some, what state was it? South Carolina, Alabama, somewhere on the radio show. Man, the Lord is a terrible power. He's a terrible power. He sent that whirlwind through, and in a few minutes, your city is over. Ain't no city. School bus on the roof down the street, the tree in the lake. You understand? The basement on the second floor. 1 hour, 10 minutes. The Lord sent a tornado through this ball game. Like, it's better to serve the power. This is our heritage. This is really who you are that you've been trying to figure out your entire life. This is really who you are. This is why you don't fit in the world or the society around you, because you weren't supposed to be there. This is where the Lord called you. This is where you're supposed to be. You understand? So keep going.
And ye shall remain in them. For the Most High shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him.
You understand? That's what the Lord is saying. It's time to clean up our people. Give me verse 28.
Verse 28, behold, an horrible vision. And the appearance, and the appearance thereof from the east.
Something you seeing from the east. Why do they keep talking about the east, the east, the east? Because that's the Middle East. That's where life started in the east. Asia, China, the Philippines, Korea, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Lebanon, Yemen, the Emirates, Israel, Palestine, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, the East. Everybody getting sucked into this war, back into the East again. You understand? Even after they fought to save the empire, they stole all the wealth from the neighboring countries, wiped out Saddam, wiped out the Afghanistan government under Karzai. They forced the president of Iran, Ahmadinejad, to step down. They forced King Assad in Assyria to step down. They forced the Egyptians, I think they forced the Egyptian prime minister to step down during the war on terror. Gaddafi refused. You see what happened to him? Destroyed his country, took it over. You understand? Like the Lord stirring this up.
Verse
Right?
29. Where the nations
No,
of the
you could go. No. Go ahead, read what you read. Read that.
Verse 29, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots.
The dragons of Arabia, the destroyers coming out of Arabia with many dragons, chariots and dragons. Why is it a dragon? Because it's going to come like a dragon and breathe fire from the sky. That's what a dragon does. It comes and breathes fire from the sky. Right?
And
you can drop that. Take me to Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1. Was it more on it? It was more?
It's a little bit more on that one.
Go ahead, keep going.
And the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all that they which hear them may fear and tremble.
Everybody who hear all the missiles and that fire falling out the sky, they're going to hear it and tremble. That's what they're hearing. The Israelis been bombing the Palestinians for what? How many months now? Just night and day. Blowing up their beepers, bombing their hospitals, bombing the food supply lines, the aid lines. Just bombing everywhere. Like the Lord sending this evil. Take me to Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1. Yeah, we got time, about 20 minutes.
This is Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
The Lord is going to have mercy on Jacob. Jacob is the forefather, of course, you all know, the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Keep going.
And will yet choose Israel.
And he's going to choose Israel. Israel has always been his chosen people. He's not choosing the whole world, only Israel. So-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. The Lord is going to have mercy on us. Keep going.
And set them in their own land.
And he's going to set us in our own land. We get in our land because the Lord is getting ready to move everybody that's living in our land now. They got to go to war. They're getting evicted. The Lord is doing this. Keep going.
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
And it's going to be some strangers joined with us. How will these strangers be joined? Keep going.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
They're going to hold on to us, cleave tight onto the house of Jacob. Keep going.
Verse 2. And the people shall take them.
And the people are going to take them. Meaning we, who the people, the house of Jacob, the children of Israel, are going to take the non-Israelites. They're going to be taken, not invited, not welcomed. They're going to be taken. Keep going.
and bring them to their place.
And bring them to their place. They were already in some place, but now they're going to be taken from where they were, and they're going to be taken to a different place where they're supposed to be. Right now, everybody is living in somebody else's land. That's why it's a whole bunch of confusion. Everybody fighting wars over land they was never supposed to be in. So the Lord got to reset the whole earth, knock down the satellites and the grid and the this and the that. All of that's getting taken away. We might go back to horse and carriage. You understand? The old-fashioned way. Chariots, horse, carriage. You understand? Keep going.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Most High.
That's right. In the land of the Lord, which is in the Middle East, which is our homeland, that's where we come from, shall possess them, shall own them. Keep going.
For servants and handmaids.
Meaning they're going to be owned, and their purpose is going to be to serve us and to be a handmaid. Whatever servants we need, they're going to be handmaids and servants. They're going to be possessions. They're not going to be free to come and go as they please. They're going to be property, the same way we were. They're going to serve out their punishment for the evil that they did to us. That's exactly what the Lord was talking about. That is why this World War III is being stirred up by Donald Trump, even though he's fighting as hard as he can to hold off World War III. The decisions he's making, you understand, is still, it's unavoidable. Even trying to calm the wave, he got to make a splash, and it's still making ripples. The Lord is doing this. The Lord had him survive those 2 assassination attempts to push the world into World War III. Keep going.
And they shall take them captives.
They're going to take them captives. A captive is a prisoner, a slave. They're going to be taken. Keep going.
Whose captives they were.
The same people whose captives we were, now they will be our captives. This is salvation in the Bible. Hold that. Take me to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. Please. All right.
All right, this is Deuteronomy, Salakia. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
The Lord said we would go into an Egypt or a house of bondage or slavery, which is Egyptos. We would go into a house of bondage again. The first time we physically walked into Egypt at the end of Genesis. The next time we would go into Egypt, if we disobeyed the Most High, we were going to go into slavery with ships. This is the transatlantic slave trade in the Bible. Keep going.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Meaning where we were in our homeland in the Middle East, when Moses said this, keep going.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
Meaning as a people, we would not see our homeland again. Think of the oldest Black person that you know. Grandma, granddaddy, the oldest Black, Latino, and Native American that you know, they have never seen their homeland. Every Ethiopian that you meet, the vast majority of them have seen Ethiopia. Every Nigerian that you meet, the vast majority of them have seen Nigeria. Every Korean that you meet, the Chinese that you meet, the Japanese that you meet, the French man that you meet, the Irish man that you meet, the German man that you meet. You understand? The Eskimos, the Polynesians that you meet, the Australians that you meet, the West and Central and North Africans that you meet, they've all seen their homeland. They can go to the land of their forefathers. They've all been there. They've seen it. They know where it is. They know about it. They can learn the history of it. None of the oldest Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans that you know have ever seen our actual homeland all together as a people, the way everyone else has. You realize that. This is what the Lord was talking about. You can't say that about any other race of people. You understand? We don't know the homeland that our forefathers went to. Keep going.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen.
Hold on 1 second. You can't run through that. Hold up.
Okay.
It says, and there, when we got to that house of bondage off those cargo slave ships, we were going to be sold unto our enemies. That's what the slave auctions were. That's still the NFL draft, the NBA combine. They still stripping you in your drawers and slapping your muscles, putting you on an auction block, get you nice and greased up and measure you, squeeze you. You understand, to see who wants to buy what. You want to sell music, they got to get that tail on the internet. Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Glorilla, the little yellow lotto broad, everybody. You got to get naked on the internet to be sold. You understand? White girls don't do that to sell music. The Koreans are selling music. They pretending to be Silk and the Backstreet Boys and doing their Korean pop music and all of that. They don't do none of that to sell music. The white girls sing country music. They ain't out there singing country music in G strings. You understand? They ain't doing folk music and none of their music. Adele ain't on stage in a goddamn G string. Beyonce is. Rihanna is. Nicki Minaj is. You understand? Why is that? Because there's one people that everyone is selling. A good percentage of the goods in America that the other nations are making money off of, a good percentage of them in the cities is being sold to us. And we less than 13% of the population. So when it talks about sold, we are the people that got a price on our head. Our communities have a price on it. Our lives have a price on it. You understand? Our children have a price on it. You know how much money they get for an aborted fetus sale in Planned Parenthood? They get filthy rich. $55,000 per kidney sale. They selling baby kidneys, getting brutalized in abortion clinics. Last year there was, thanks, 1.5 million abortions the last 2 years. About 700,000 is just us. Like, this is the land of our captivity. This isn't our homeland. That's why you don't fit here. The systems don't fit us. That's why we were supposed to come into the truth to make our world and society huge. But instead, we became Democrats and Christians and Muslims and fake Israelites and everything else. And look where we are now. Keep going.
For bondmen and bondwomen.
It's a man and a woman that has a price on their head, on their life. Keep going.
And no man shall buy you.
Old Quaker English, no man would be able to redeem us with the money that they made. They aren't able to come and buy us or redeem us or pay for us to get our freedom. That's not going to work. You understand? So now, I want to go to Exodus chapter 21 and verse 16. It's either 20 and 16 or 21 and 16. I think it's 21. And then we're going to go back to Isaiah.
Exodus chapter 21 and verse 16. And he that stealeth a man.
He that steal a man. That's what was done to us. We were men and women that were stolen from our homeland. We fled into the west coast of Africa because they were stealing us from our homeland in Jerusalem. The slave markets were filled with black Jews as slaves. From Babylon to Timbuktu, page 84. Over 1 million Jews fled into Africa. We met up in Fled, and we finally settled on the west coast of Africa over the period of centuries where we lived on that continent as a whole, while the rest of our people went into captivity, sold by the Romans in the slave trade. And then on the west coast of Africa, we lived there for centuries and we built entire empires there. In Ghana, the word Ghanan is a Hebrew word, it means to defend. We built up empires there. That's why once we left, the Ghanaians did nothing. They didn't build anything, they didn't develop anything. They didn't come up with electricity or none of the inventions that we created in slavery with no language, history, or identity for hundreds of years. As soon as we got out of slavery, within a generation, we were inventing things. The next generation, we built colleges, universities, and cities. They had to start lynching families and burning the towns to the ground. The towns had to flood our cities all throughout the South and the Midwest. They dropped bombs on our cities in Philadelphia to destroy us. That's how much of a threat and how successful we were if they just left us alone. That's why they had Martin Luther King, a federal government agent working for America when he was younger and ignorant because of his sin of wanting to have sex with white women. And he sold all of us out and later found out he had a damn game plan played on him by the devil that the Bible speaks of. Once he realized it, they took him out by the hand of the Lord. You understand? So, he that stealeth a man, keep going,
and selleth him,
and sells that man. If you steal him, that is a crime. If you sell him, that is also a crime. This is talking about human trafficking, what they call it now. Back then it was called slavery, slave caravans. Keep going.
or if he be found in his hand.
Or let's say you didn't steal him and you didn't sell him, but you inherited him because he was passed down through your family, because your great-great-grandfather or your cousin or your uncle or your brother or your father had them. Like the devil that I interviewed down at the National Mall, saying my forefather, he was a slave owner. He did terrible things. It was terrible. But I'm here and I believe by the blood of good Lord and Savior Jesus Christ that I'm going to go to heaven when I die. No. We are still in captivity. Your father left you holding a bag for that kidnapping charge. And according to God, we're still in your hand. You have to pay for this. Same way he left you that house and that name and that credit score and that reputation and that bank account, that life insurance policy and a good standing in the earth with good white man benefits. Well, you have to pay for that. This is what the Lord is saying. Keep going.
He shall surely be put to death.
He said, death is getting handed out for that. You're not gonna pass for that. Not only did it say that if you steal him and sell him, but it also said if they are found in your hand, we are still in the hand of them that oppress us. That's why you pay for water when the planet is covered in water. You pay for electricity when they get electricity from the sun. You understand? You pay for land when land is supposed to be passed down from father to son. This land belongs to the children of Gad and Reuben and the children of Issachar. They stole it, and now they force you to pay for it. Damn right, sis. Possession of stolen goods, possession of human cargo. You are a part of the trafficking network, and you are a benefactor of the crimes that your forefathers did. You sit in the same seats that they established. You control the same cities that they established with the blood that they did. Drop that. Take me to Habakkuk 2 and 12.
Come.
Let me get Habakkuk 2 and 12 real quick.
This is Habakkuk 2 and 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood.
The scriptures say destruction to him that builds a town with blood. They built their towns and cities in America with blood, with lynching, with crimes, with burning the teepees alive and unaliving and smallpox, with the saber and the musket and the revolver and the repeater and the lever action and the 30-30 and 380 and 38 special. Not the 380, that's a much younger round, but the 38 special and the 357 Magnum. You established a town with bloodshed from the east all the way to the west coast. All of that was Mexico. Most of everything from the Midwest past Texas all the way up belonged to Mexico. They stole it at the butt of a rifle, at the barrel of a rifle. They took it. They established towns with blood, and they buried our families in mass graves. They did this to the Mexicans. They did it to the who are the tribe of Issachar and Gad and Reuben. You understand? Any more on that?
Khan, establisheth a city by iniquity.
And they established a city with sin, with crime, with slavery and human trafficking and stolen goods, possession of stolen property, with identity theft, pretending to be Native Americans, pretending to be the natives of the land when you just murdered a man and his family and stole his land. That's a crime. God said destruction to you for doing that. And now, let's go back to Isaiah chapter 14. This is why these things are happening. Nobody cares what has been done to our people. The Lord is going to make everyone care because they're going to lose everything. You're going to take it all. Keep going.
Isaiah chapter 14. I'm going to start at 1 out of 1.
Start at 2.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
Yep. Take them and bring them to their place. They're going to be taken for what they did. Keep going.
And the house of Israel shall possess them.
Keep going.
In the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
They're going to be servants and handmaids the same way we were servants and handmaids. They're going to work construction. They're going to work the field. They're going to pick our crops. They're going to pick our cotton, our sugar cane. See, the cotton fields here in America, they took our babies and fed them to alligators. Well, the crocodiles in the Middle East, they got crocodiles out there. And the crocodile is more aggressive than the alligator, I'm told. Their snout is a little smaller and they're more aggressive. You understand? Well, they fed our babies to alligators. Might not be no alligators in the Middle East, but they certainly got crocodiles. And I don't know what type of diet the crocodiles have there, but they're going to get a new one. They for sure going to get a new one. Thus saith the Lord. Keep going.
And they shall take them captives.
And they're going to be captives. They're going to be slaves. Keep going.
Whose captives they were.
Right.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
They're going to rule. We're going to rule over them, not with them, not friends. The people who oppress us are going into captivity. They're going in iron and chains. They won't have a home to go back to. Their home is going to be the slave quarters. They won't have a home to go back to. Won't be a Europe to go back to. Won't be a South Africa to lie and steal their land. There will be no more America. It'll all be sand. From Florida all the way up to Washington State, and from Maine all the way down to the far-reaching tips of California, all of that this is America. The Lord is going to turn this into sand and desert, just like ancient Egypt. You can't find most of ancient Egypt. Only thing you can find most of is the pyramids. The rest of it is buried in sand in the desert. Well, that's what's going to happen to America. That's what God is going to do to America. The days here are numbered. This place will not go on forever. The whole purpose of Christ coming and dying and the whole purpose of salvation is to destroy the land of our captivity and free us and put them in captivity. That's the reparations. Nobody want to have that true reparations discussion the way that God said to do so in the Bible. You understand? They want money and mule and all of this here. The Lord going to set all of this on fire. What you need a mule for? Ain't gonna be no land to work. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 3. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow.
We're gonna get rest from our sorrow finally. Keep going.
And from thy fear.
You're not gonna be afraid. There's not gonna be any more tail lights in your rearview mirror. It could be a ticket, it could be a bullet, could be your last traffic stop. People scared to death, brothers and sisters. The damn ICE agents running up in your child's school to snatch your child out of school and send him to a goddamn prison in El Salvador with MS-13 and 18th Street. Just put them on a plane and illegally send them to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, in a damn prison. You understand? Meanwhile, you've never seen an Arab, an Asian, an African, or a Ukrainian sitting in a Venezuelan prison, an El Salvadorian prison, in Guantanamo Bay prison in Cuba. You've never seen them in the news in a dog cage either, on display like the balls in the bike section at Walmart. You never seen them in dog cages before, but you have seen the children of Israel, and God is going to make them pay for it, and it's going to be terrible. It's going to be so sad. It's going to be the worst day in all of human history when Christ returns, and it is going to be followed by us waking up in heaven and them waking up in absolute hell. That's what's in the Bible. That's what's in the Bible. All right.
And from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve.
From the hard bondage that you were made to serve. You know, they still got chain gangs in America.
Mm-hmm.
They got our tribes in the field bent over. You know how difficult it is to pick strawberries on the ground with your hand and tomatoes on the ground with your hand, and you're in an orange grove when it's hundreds of acres of just groves of oranges and tomatoes and strawberries and berries, and you out there in a field that is as wide as the widest place you've ever been in your life, with no bathrooms, no shades, no showers, no toilets, and you are there in just your heat, your sweat, your exhaustion, your hard bondage, and you are picking hundreds of pounds of oranges and fruits for Dole and Del Monte, so they can get to the grocery store, so all the orange juice manufacturers can put it in big containers in the processing centers so they can fill the grocery stores with orange juice. You only have orange juice because of the tribe of Issachar. You only have tomatoes because of Issachar. That's why all your produce is $3 and $2 instead of $20 and $10, because of our Latino brothers and sisters. That is hard labor and bondage, and they're going to do hard labor and bondage in the unforgiving 120, 130-degree Middle Eastern sun, night and day, for centuries. And we're going to get powerful and rich and eat all the wonderful good things of the land, and they're going to grow it and do construction and reap zero of the benefits. The same way that we reap none of the benefits and they get to become billionaires. That's the reparations and the justice that God is talking about. This is his way in the Bible, and it's coming soon, and Donald Trump is making it happen as quick as he can. You understand? The Lord is using. Ain't that what they used to say in the Christian church? Let him use you. Ain't that what they said? Let him use you. Well, Donald Trump is being used by the Lord. The way the Lord used Pharaoh, he's being used for sure. You understand? All right. So let's see. Give me 4.
Verse 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon.
Right, the king that rules Babylon. Babylon was an ancient empire in the Middle East where all the world's nations came together. Everybody spoke the same language. They had the same goal. They all came together. And the Lord fixed that by making everyone have different cultures. He gave them different languages so that they could not understand each other. And then he pushed them into different places in the world so that they can live separate from each other. That's what's ancient Babylon. They built a tower to reach heaven so that they could fight against God, so that he could not destroy the world and flood it again if they have a tower that can reach him. They rebuilt that tower all the way to the heavens to reach God at the International Space Station. They rebuilt it. You understand? The same thing that the Lord was against in Genesis, mankind rebuilt it all over again. And the Lord is sending Christ to come and destroy it once again. Keep going.
And say, how have the oppressor ceased?
Says, oh, the oppressor is gone. We can finally be at peace. Won't be anybody taking $600 out your check and all the taxes out your check, and you won't have to pay for water and lights and utilities anymore. You don't have to pay for a place to stay because you own actual things. You own the land. Nobody can come and take your land away from you because the earth belongs to you. That's actual freedom. You pay for that house and don't pay that property taxes, then people gonna come take that house. You pay for that land and don't pay the property taxes on your land. They'll come and put you off that land and sell it. It'll become state's auction. They'll put it right online, lot for sale. You understand? But when you free, that won't happen. It'll never happen again. Never. Keep going.
The golden city ceased.
Said the golden city is over. The Big Apple, Las Vegas, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Miami, Silicon Valley, Los Angeles, the golden city with all the wealth and the power that runs everything in the world, it's gone. It has ceased. That's not the center of power and authority anymore. It's gone. Thanks to Christ that has brought us salvation. You can't have salvation and America still be here. They're not going to let you have salvation. They're not going to let you be free. Neither will the Arabs, neither will the East Indians, neither will the Asians, neither will the Africans. You will not be free, and they be free. It's not going to happen. We tried it already. They all came and enslaved us and starved us and sold us and oppressed us. Now Christ is going to be the king, and no one will ever do any of those things to us ever again. No one will ever get power ever again, except for the army of righteous men that will rule with Christ perpetually. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 5. The Most High have broken the staff of the wicked.
The Lord is going to break the staff. The staff is what you use to control the power, the authority. But their power and control is going to be broken. They won't have an army. They won't have an economy. They won't have a CNN and NBC and servers and satellites to track you down and predator drones and destroyers and the Air Force and the Navy. They won't have any of that. The Lord is going to break it all. It's all going to be broken. You understand? That's why you Christians praying for America, you don't understand God. You don't know God. God wants to destroy the governments of our enemies. Not us. We're going to obey the laws and serve the Lord. The Lord is going to force your president to turn against his own federal judges. They're going to turn against each other. And the federal law enforcement officers going to turn against the city and the county and the state law enforcement officers. They don't want to serve ICE. They don't want ICE coming in telling them what to do in their towns and cities. And you got to stand up. You the federal army, we the city army. You understand? You already see Trump and Maine getting into the beef because Maine say they're not getting rid of transgender sports. And President Trump say, you gonna do what I say. They said, see you in court. He said you'll never get another job again. You understand? Making gangster threats on live TV. Like this is the downfall. He done fired everybody that could check him. The army sliding with him. Who going to enforce what you say as a federal judge? Federal judges don't have an army. The president does. The Lord said there will be sedition among men. This is how it starts. Keep going.
And the scepter of the rulers.
The power of the rulers, the seat where they sit in, that's being broken. You understand? Give me verse 6.
Verse 6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke.
He who continually smote the people, kept hitting and beating the people over and over again. With Jim Crow, red line, slavery, the slave trade, black crows, everything, crack cocaine, heroin, stop and frisk, mandatory minimums, the rent going up, first fired, last hired, something wrong with your hair, it's unprofessional, your skin is too dark. Then they pass labor laws. Now you need a license to do the job that your family been doing for 20, 30 years, 6, 7 generations. Now you need a license. Now you got to go to school. Now you got to pay $10,000 to learn something that your grandfather and your great-great-grandfather been teaching you how to plumb and weld and be a mechanic and barber and do hair and be a chef. Now you got to go to the white man's school to get permission. And you don't have the tens of thousands of dollars because he's not going to give you tens of thousands of dollars. But you can get a loan to go into debt. And he still controls the hiring because all your businesses failed because he destroyed them systematically. That's continual strokes that he did. Well, the Lord said there's a terrible payment coming for that. And this is what our salvation is about. This is what God so loved the world is about. This is what Christ dying on the cross is to bring us the judgment of the wicked so that we can be free. It's salvation. Keep going.
He that ruled the nations in anger.
He ruled over the nations in anger. If you don't do what he says, he gonna bomb you. He called you a terrorist, and then they invaded you. He turned your people against them. They unalive you, your family, your wife, your kids. They take your whole country away, and now it's destabilized. All in Africa, all in Central and North and West and South Africa, all in the East, all with apartheid, all with AFRICOM, all with NATO, all throughout Europe, all in Asia, the whole Vietnam War and Laos and Cambodia, getting opium factories going, stealing gold from the natives there, flooding the streets with heroin, at the same time using the Asians to do it with the Vietnam War, bringing dope back in the soldiers' caskets, all of that. They put it in movies, they put it in video games. The Lord said that there's a lot to pay for. That's why he's saying for us to separate from them. That's why they're removing the contributions that you made as a black soldier from Arlington Cemetery. They're removing everything about your existence from this place because the Lord wants you separated. You understand? Rule the nations in anger. Keep going.
Is persecuted.
Persecuted. Now he got to pay. He never had to pay for what he did there. Keep going.
And none hindereth.
Nobody is hindering them. Nobody is hindering them. Give me verse 7.
Verse 7. The whole earth is at rest.
The whole earth will be at rest. The whales will be free to swim around the ocean. They won't be in SeaWorld anymore. The lions won't be in a zoo getting fed drugged up meat. Steaks full of drugs. The dolphin getting fish full of drugs. So it don't go in a panic and try to escape this big fish tank because it's supposed to be swimming in the sea, and you got them in here selling tickets. You understand? You got them in here doped up on drugs, getting high all day, so that you can rub their fur and take nice TikTok videos and throw up the peace sign and rub the tiger's belly, and the tiger sitting there strung out on drugs in the damn cage while you rub his belly instead of it slash your face in 6 pieces. Well, now the tiger will be free to live a tiger's life in the jungle forever. He'll be free. The lions won't be in the safari. They're going to be free to live where lions are supposed to live. You understand? The whales will be in the ocean. The seals will be in their place. The deer will be able to live in the woods where they're supposed to. The bears won't end up in a city in the middle of the woods. Everything will go back to its proper place. The birds will be where they're supposed to be. No more deforestation. No more wildfires. You're not going to build a city in a place that's going to catch fire because you done destroyed the surrounding environment. Everything's going to get fixed. Just like it started to get fixed during COVID. The Lord said the earth will be at peace, be quiet, but there's one thing that you have to remove in order for there to be peace in the world. You understand? Everything is going to be nice and quiet. Keep going.
And it's quiet.
Keep going.
They break forth into singing.
They're going to break forth in singing. Why are they going to sing? Give me verse 8.
Yea, verse 8. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee.
The trees are going to rejoice. Keep going.
And the cedars of Lebanon.
The Lebanese flag has always had those trees on it. The trees in the garden, talking about all the other nations. This is not talking about the actual tree. Talking about nations in the Middle East. Why are they rejoicing? We all know a tree can't sing. Keep going.
Saying, since thou art laid down.
Since the oppressor is down. Since there's no more white man with an army or navy or air force or marines or missiles or bombs or rifles or rockets. Since you have been taken out of power, keep going.
No feller is come up against us.
There's nobody trying to bomb us. Nobody trying to take our land, take our oil, take our lithium, take our iron, blow up our mountains and steal our resources. There's no free white man anywhere that would come to rob us. Finally. Keep going.
Verse 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming.
Hell is moving. See, we've been living in hell. We've been living in hell in captivity, but now it's changing. It's switching because we've been at the bottom in hell and in captivity. Now it's moving so that it can adjust so that you who were at the top, now you going to be at the bottom in hell. It's going to move to greet thee, to welcome you into poverty and depression, to welcome you into sorrow and working a 9 to 5 and 6 to 10 and just never being good enough and trying to keep your head above water and looking for the child line. And you trying to just make it. You're trying to get some extra hours on the other job. And you're trying to get your insurance right and trying to keep your family together. And you being oppressed and you're tired and you're stressed and your woman fussing at you because she can't keep the cave clean because she got to do all the work. And everybody got to work and the kids got to work. It's just terrible. But everything else will be perfect because you won't be free to oppress anybody. That's what it says. Keep going.
Salakia. It stirred up the dead for thee.
It stirreth up the dead for thee. Keep going.
Even all the chief ones of the earth.
All the mighty and powerful ones in the earth, they're getting stirred up for you. Keep going.
It has raised up from their throne all the kings of the nations.
All the people that rule the other nations, they're getting raised up from their position of power because you had authority over everyone. If they didn't do what you said, here come the Marines, here come the Air Force, here come NATO. Here come the Predator drones. Here come the Boeing, the C-130. Here come the Chinook and the Apaches and the Javelins. You understand? If they didn't do what you said, they was getting bombed. But now you don't have any power to bomb anybody. Christ took all that away. Keep going. Give me verse 10.
Verse 10. All they shall speak and say unto thee.
Everyone is going to speak. All the Asians, the Africans, the Chinese, the East Indians, all of the other nations of people that are tired of you oppressing everyone and ruling and stealing and undercutting and starting wars and raising up rival groups to tear down the government as they try to do what's best for their people. You want to kill off the good leaders and institute your puppet leaders in the land, like they've done everywhere, all in Africa, all in the Middle East, all in Europe. They are finally going to say what they're going to say, Yagadar.
Art thou become like us? Oh, Salakia. Art thou also become weak as we?
Now you weak. You can't stop shooters from breaking out in your land. You got rival groups jumping off in your country. They trying to assassinate your leader like they always assassinate our leaders over here. Keep going.
Art thou become like unto us?
Are you become just like us now? I thought you was the great superpower. You having problems with your kids over there shooting and killing people. We got child soldiers over here in our country. Uh-oh. Seem like you become like us. You understand? Give me verse 12.
Verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven?
Now you've fallen from your position of heaven and glory and power and influence and prestige. That's what Donald Trump is doing. He is sinking the prestige and the mystique of America. How beautiful it once was and how it looked. He's sinking it. It's open, it's racist, it's destructive, it's unprofessional, it's spoiled, it's arrogant, and it's showing it to the world. Your full naked behind exposed to the world and how you really are. You don't look wonderful and beautiful and gracious and glorious anymore. You look ratchet and torn down and arrogant and privileged and out of touch and insensitive and inhumane. The same things that you used to say about all the other world leaders. They're going to say the same thing about you. And that's what all the other nations across the world are saying about America now. Keep going.
O Lucifer, son of the morning.
Son of the morning. Oh, Lucifer. The Christians thought Lucifer was talking about Satan. Lucifer is the white man. It's a nickname. Satan is an angel. Lucifer is a nickname of the white man, just like the great dragon, the serpent, the devil, the deceiver, the oppressor. It's slang. Son of the morning, which means that when you see them, it look like you shining. It look like you're glowing. You're sleeping beauty. You're Snow White. You're Cinderella. You're Princess Frozen. You're the Little Mermaid. You understand? You're Belle from Beauty and the Beast. You're Wonder Woman. You're bright and shiny and you're white. You're Spider-Man. You're Superman. You're Iron Man. You're Batman. You're the white hero. You're big and bright and powerful, and the light shine on you. You're glorious. You're Hulk Hogan. You're just white and wonderful. Well, now you're not going to look that way to the world anymore. The complexion for the protection is going away. And the Lord is removing that. Go ahead.
How art thou cut down to the ground?
How art thou cut down to the ground? How did this happen? Keep going.
Which did weaken the nations.
You weakened all the nations. How did you weaken the nations? How did you weaken the nations? You made all the nations weak. Crippled Latin America. You crippled Asia. You crippled the Middle East. You crippled them. Anyone who challenged your dollar bill, who challenged your democracy and your way of life and international business, You stop them from doing business with the rest of the world. You set up the mark of the beast, that no man may buy, sell, or trade except he receive the mark in his forehead. If you don't agree with that white men's burden of capitalism and democracy, which is Christianity, which is white supremacy, which is the Western way of thinking and philosophy, if you don't agree with it, then you can't buy, sell, or trade. You end up like Cuba. You end up like Haiti. You end up like Jamaica. You end up like Mexico. You end up like Latin and South America and Venezuela. You end up starved and neglected and shut off from the rest of the world like Korea. You understand? Like Iran and Afghanistan. You end up behind. You understand? Well, now you don't have the power to do that anymore. But at one time, they weakened all the nations. You understand? Give me verse 13.
Verse 13. For thou hast said in thine heart.
In their spirit, this is what the oppressor says to himself. Keep going.
I will ascend into the heaven.
I will ascend into heaven.
Salakia.
Elon Musk is sending SpaceX up to outer space. People going to outer space for a tourist trip. They send William Shatner up there, random rich white women going up to outer space. You understand? Nobody even considered that the Lord don't want you in outer space. Who gives a damn? You go where you want. Think of the arrogancy that you have to be to think you can leave the planet. How arrogant must you be to think I'm gonna leave the planet? Like, who the hell gives you permission to leave the goddamn planet? That's arrogancy. That's pride. I will ascend into heaven. That's the Tower of Babel. All over again. Keep going.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High.
I'm going to sit above his stars in outer space. I'm going to also sit above his stars on earth, who are blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. I'm going to be the children of God. I'm going to make myself. Other white men, they're going to be the children of God. I'm going to make myself God. I'll make God a white man. Make Jesus a white man. I'm going to be everything. God, Jesus, the angels, the last Mohicans, Moses, Noah. I'm going to be everything. Everybody going to be a white man. Keep going.
I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation.
The mountain of the congregation is in Jerusalem, in Israel. Keep going.
In the sides of the north.
I'm going to sit everywhere in the place. Keep going.
Verse 14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds.
I'm going to go past the clouds. This is going to outer space. The International Space Station with SpaceX. Keep going.
I will be like the Most High.
I'm going to be like God. When people think about God, they're going to think of a picture of a naked white man touching fingers with another smaller naked white man. I'm going to be God. The way I think, that's how God thinks. The way I say heaven is, that's what God said heaven is. The way I say what's right, what's wrong, that's what God says. What I believe, that's what God believes. You understand? He's reshaped the world in his image exactly the opposite of the way that the Lord wanted it to be. You understand? He made the world a wilderness. I'm going to skip down for time's sake and try to cut it short. I'm going to just paraphrase there. It says he's going to be brought down to hell and fire and destruction in verse 15. In verse 16, it says, they that see thee, the other nations that see thee, they're going to look at thee and say, ain't that you? Aren't you the man that made the earth to tremble with your bombs and your army, your marines, your predator drones? You shook kingdoms. You wiped out entire kingdoms and governments with your politics and your espionage and your MI6 and your special this and your FBI. Like you made the world a wilderness. You stole all the resources from every country so that if they don't do what you say, you just install a puppet government. You have assassinations. You steal the resources. You wipe out entire families. Like you do this and you keep people in prison everywhere you go. Millions of prisoners. Everywhere you go, you install gigantic prisons. all the kings of the nations, all of them are in their own house, except you will no longer have a house. You're going to be joined to the wicked ones in burial, because when Christ returns, all of those that fight against the Most High are going to be burned in thermonuclear destruction. Now, give me verse 21, Yagadar.
Come Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity.
The Lord said, right, the Lord said, prepare slaughter, which is mass unaliving for his children, not the people who did it initially, but for the children who are alive now and the ones in the future from when this prophecy was said. Prepare slaughter for his children. Why? Keep
for
going.
the iniquity of their fathers.
For the crimes that their forefathers did, the evil they did, the children are the ones who will have to pay for it. This is God's reparations here. All of that, you get judged as an individual. I didn't do it. That's not what the Lord said. The Lord said you're guilty because of your forefathers. Keep going.
That they do not rise.
They don't rise up anymore. They always rise up and rebuild. They'll never rise again when Christ returns. Keep going.
Nor possess the land.
God don't want them to ever own any land ever again, because everywhere they go, they turn it to Sodom and Gomorrah. They turn it into the ghetto and the projects, and they oppress the people whose land it is. God, they will never own land again. They're going to work for hundreds of years until they cease to exist. God is going to remove their spirits from the earth, and they will be gone all forever as a nation. Keep going.
Nor fill the face of the world with cities.
They will never fill cities with their people, because the Lord is going to have them all rounded up, and they're all going to be in captivity for servants and handmaidens until they cease to exist. You understand? Give me 22. We can get up out of here.
Verse 22. For I will rise up against them.
The Lord said he's going to rise up against them. This is God's doing. Keep going.
Saith the Lord of hosts.
The Lord of armies. Keep going.
And cut off from Babylon the name.
The Lord said he's going to cut off from Babylon. He's going to cut America off for good. Keep going.
And remnant.
Anything that came from the American empire, from the oppressor's empire, all of the great Edomite empires, the Russia, the Spain, the Ukraine, all of the great white empires across the world, the remnant, whoever's left over hiding in a bunker, a doomsday bunker, the preppers, keep going.
And son.
And the son, the children that came from it. Keep going.
And nephew.
The nephew, the children of your brother. Keep going.
Saith the Most High.
Why does it say the son and the nephew? Because all of the males of your family reproduce your lineage. The males bring people back into the earth. Every time you come back, one of your male relatives is having a baby, and you are their daughter. You are their son. And every male can reproduce his family line that died in the past to come back. That's why it says the son and the nephew, because that's your entire family lineage. Without nephews and sons, there is no more of that people. You understand? That's salvation. It's wonderful for us, but it would be terrible for the other nations and people. You understand? So with that, we're going to go ahead and end it there. Most High in Christ, and clap it up. Rakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shah. All right. We at Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You got the announcements there, Yagadar? If not, I could just do it.
We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, out of Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. Rule for new brother and sister. When new brother and sister come into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They have to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. And after this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment, found in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. 10% of every penny of any increase the Most High give you, you want to give to the Treasury Department or the teacher. There's also a priest fund. That's a free will offering for the priest, and it's not mandatory. And whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We have the Lord's 56th Passover coming up in Atlanta, April 12th. April 12th. Make sure you pay your Passover fees. It's a QR code right in the top right-hand corner if you haven't done so already. The Lord's 56th Passover. Any brothers and sisters, or any brother that wants to be a trooper, wants to be an officer, wants to come into the school, you have to be in all black shirt, all black pants, headband, war scarf. And again, coming to the school, ready to work. And sisters, you can't be a trooper, but you can definitely be part of that school, and everything starts with you calling that number 757-550-1204. And with that, we'll give a courtesy salute to the teacher of Israel. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Brakatah.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Brakatah.
All right, we can give a courtesy salute to the sisters, men of Israel, Barak, Yahweh Shamar, Alasan, by Shem Yahweh Shai. And with that, class dismissed.
Welcome to Atlanta. Crisis Officer 5000, Jeremiah, the camp leader of Atlanta. Passover 2025, starting April the 9th, we got the lamb slaughter. April the 10th, we got General Muhammad's class. April the 11th, we got the black party that's going to have the Hebrew graduation. April the 12th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the 56th annual Passover, the only Passover under Commander Junior Hunter.
Our great and holy King has honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing the end of it, man. It is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King Yahweh Shai, we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved.
April the 13th, we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Shalom.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West.